Welcome back, people. Welcome back. We're almost nearing 75 episodes of stuff on this channel, man. Some good, some bad, some ugly, man. But 75 episodes, a lot of talking, man. Anyway, still got a couple, breaths left to take, so some more information to divulge to you all. Today's episode is going to be about the brand Cameo and about a particular Cameo guitar that I have right back here. Recently picked up at the flea market. It's marked $25, as you can see right here. You can see that. I'll show you in a second, man. Marked $25. I paid $20 for it. You know what I mean? Cameo. It's made in Germany. Cameo is a brand that on the internet there's not really too much reliable information. In fact, there's nobody really who's sort of pieced together everything yet. Bobby G's pieced together a long time ago, man. But this episode should be subtitled "Why You Should Never Fucking Believe Shit That You Read on the Fucking Internet." Because even the most expert motherfuckers posting shit on the internet are just posting a bunch of fucking theories and shit, man. Conjecture. Fucking conjecture, man. Bobby G's gonna set you straight today, though, man. About the brand Cameo. From its beginning, we're gonna go 200 fucking years back behind that whole family line, man. I'm telling you, man, I got a lot of fucking research done on this, man. And it only took me like that, man. Because, you know what I mean? I'm a guitar-loving guy, and I remember shit. Like, oh, I remember that. So, I'm going to enlighten everybody about the true story about Cameo. I'm going to burst some bubbles, man. I'm going to pop some fucking myths. You know what I mean? First myth I'm going to fucking pop, right, is a myth that Frank Myers put on Drowning Guitars. That, Cameo was somehow related to some company out in Illinois. You know what I mean? That was a drum manufacturer. Bro, that was not Cameo. That was like Camcro or something like that. Wasn't even the name of the company wasn't even Cameo. It was like Camcro, right? It wasn't even fucking Cameo, man. Just do some reading, man. You know what I'm saying? And yeah, you're right. That was bought by Custom in Canute. You know what I'm saying? But it was a drum company called Camcro, right? Not Cameo, right? So another person that's floating around a myth somewhere in the interwebs, I believe that's quoted somewhere on Jedi Star. You know what I mean? Cameo was a 1969, conglomeration of some Japanese businessmen, formed to import Japanese guitars. Wrong! Wrong! That's wrong, too. Whatever the fuck that. You're wrong. You don't know what the fuck you're talking about. So stop talking. Really. Not true. Not true. Alright? And the third thing, which is kind of like, I'll kind of give it to you, but not really give it to you. So the original guitars were manufactured in Syosset, Long Island, New York, whatever. That's not true. Not true, although, you know what I mean? You were the closest one. Whoever the fuck that was, my internet friend. So, before we get too much further into this, you know what I mean? Fucking around with this little guy here. You know what I'm saying? Made by our dear friends Framus in Germany, right? We're going to talk a little bit about Cameo, man, because I want to set you straight before I even get another word in. So I'm going to flip you around, and I'm going to actually go right into my evidence, man. Right into the slideshow, because that's what you need to know first. And then I'll put this guy in a slab. We'll take a look at it, we'll repair it, we'll have a fucking nice day. So let me flip you around. Alright, folks, so let's start our intelligence hunt the right way. The correct way, the researcher's way. Let's look at, these Cameo guitars to break it down. Who's their parent, right? So most of them have, the bulk of them have a sticker that look like this. They went from, the early ones were like German seconds, from German companies, factory seconds, to, they became like actually produced in the, Orient, at a mass rate, possibly for Cameo exclusively. But I'm not going to rule out factory seconds even from the Orient, because the principles involved have deep roots into like different facets of the music industry, work for a very big company. So let's talk about who is MICA, man. It says right here, product of MICA. Who is MICA? So in our search for MICA, we found a purchaser's guide. This is like before there's the internet, there are books, right? Purchaser's guide from back in the day. So the following brands were sold by MICA. Yamaha, they're a Yamaha distributor. Earlier on, we see that. Young's plus saxophones. Don't know much about that. Estrada. We've heard about Estrada. People always say on the internet, I think this Estrada guitar is actually really a Gibson second. A lot of people say that. I think this is a real Gibson guitar that was like sold off by the Gibson company as a second, man. So the quality was just so high on some of these Estrada guitars. And Cameo guitars, right? That's what we're talking about here, Cameo guitars. banjos, mandolins, swan drums, all kinds of shit, man. So MICA is big time. Now, who is MICA, man? MICA is Musical Instruments Corp of America. How do we know that, man? Are we sure about that, Bobby G? And it wasn't some kind of conglomerate of a Japanese businessman? I'm sure about it. Because here is the New York State Corporation and Business Entity Database search results for the Musical Instrument Corp of America, ladies and gentlemen. Now, we see here, Musical Instrument Corp of America was actually incorporated August 30th, 1946. What the fuck? Is that possible, man? 1946? Morty, it's just not possible! Listen to me, man. And it was dissolved in recently as 2012. You see that, folks? As recently as 2012 was when it was annulled, man, when it was dissolved, man. Now, 1946, you know what I mean, seems real early. You know, this is MICA might, you know, I mean, this is when Jack Westheimer was still on the teat, man. It was a long time ago, man. But I'm going to show you a secondary clue, man. Secondary clue is on the second page. The name history of the file, you know, of the actual entity. Here's the name history. 1946, it was actually known as Stuart Allen Incorporated. And then in 1960, they filed a petition to change the name of the entity to Musical Instrument Corp of America. Can you see that, folks? I want you to see that close. I want you to pay attention to that. 1960. That's the date, man. 1946. So Stuart Allen, were they doing musical instruments? Let's take a look. What was Stuart Allen all about, folks? Here's this, man. Stuart Allen, man, Poshmark, man, vintage 1940 Stuart Allen dress. Stuart Allen, size 12, man. Big girls back then, man. That's what it's all about, man. So, 1940 Stuart Allen was actually in textiles, man. Textiles, man. Dresses, man. You know what I'm saying? So what happened, man? 1960, Stuart Allen hightailed it down to Miami, FLA. What? Yes, indeed. They're still in business down there in the great Gator State, people. So, Stuart Allen, you know, he disappeared. Who are the principals of this MICA, man? Was it the Chinese businessman? Was it the Japanese emperor? I don't know, man. Here is the Music Trades Corporation. This is a music, you know what I mean, trades. Sort of your Bible before the internet again. Books, folks. Now all books can be found on the internet, more or less. Some of the big ones. So this is from 1970. Let's take a look at what it says about Musical Instrument Corp of America, MICA. First address there was the Jericho Parkway, Jericho Turnpike, Long Island. See, this is, you know what I'm saying? I'm telling you, this is, I haven't even talked about this being part 2 of our great trip up to the island. I've been so excited about this information, man. I didn't even say it until now it's almost like 10 minutes in the video, man. Yes, this is part 2, folks. Syosset, man. You know what I'm saying? Syosset, man. Firm functions as importers, a wholesaler, sales reps, and distribution warehousing. No manufacturing, right? It is headed by a team of 3 men with extensive, see, right? 3 men with extensive and long experience in the music business. Eddie Finger, right? He's the president, man, chairman of the board. Then we got Fred Rosenwald. He's the executive vice president. And we got Elliott Hyman. He's another vice president. A total of 86 years of experience as being in the music industry, man. This is in 1970. Elliott Hyman, actually previous to the year 1960, he was working for Stuart Allen. He was the one holdover. You know what I mean? He was one of the big, you know what I mean, sales reps, buyers, you know what I'm saying, for Stuart Allen. He stuck it. So he had, at this point, 10 years of experience. So these 2 guys, Eddie and Freddie, they must have had a million years. And so who were they, man? Let's talk about Eddie Finger, man, and Fred Rosenwald. Let's get into the family here. So this is from, you know, back in the 50s, 60s, and 70s. They used to have these, you know, everybody had like a local magazine. All the trades had magazines, you know. Just like people at, like, you know, at work and play, you know what I mean, smoking cigarettes, hanging out, talking about what was up, man. So this is from, I believe it's called The Musician, Teacher and Student, something like that, from September of 1958. Let me get date in there, man. I want you to see it, man, for yourself. I'm going to focus a little bit more on this side, man, because I want you to see it, man. Let's see if I can move it over there, man. September 1958. Now let's look. Eddie Finger. Oh, we know these names. Number 10. Picture number 10, right? Eddie Finger, Felix Bear of B&J, standing at the left of Eddie Sanders from Muncie, Indiana. Fred Rosenwald flanks him on the right. Let's look at picture 10, man. Because we know Fred Rosenwald and we know Eddie Finger. Let's finger them out, man. Here's a picture number 10. Okay? Picture number 10, man. Numero 10. So here's Eddie Finger. This is our friend Felix Bear. We don't know anything about him. This guy's from Muncie, Indiana. He's the buyer, I believe, of the, I guess a school was looking to buy. The Muncie School District was looking to buy instruments from B&J. Now, we know who B&J is, people. B&J is Bugleson and Jacobson. We've talked about them many times in the Kent Polaris episode. One of the biggest distributors of musical instruments in the 1950s, 60s. You're going back. They're really into the horn, man. I remember there's an interview with one of the Jacobsons or the Buglesons, and he's like 1,000 years old on the NOM, archive. You know what I mean? He's like, I just cared about the horn. All the other stuff was just, intolerable. All kinds of accessories and other instruments. I only cared about the horn. They were importing like trumpets or something like that from Europe, and that's what he was big on, man. But Bugles and Jacobson was huge, man. So let's talk about all these guys. This is Eddie Finger, man. This is Fred Rosenwald. They're family, you know what I mean, by marriage. His older sister, Ruth, right, happens to be the wife of Mr. Rosenwald. And I'll tell you what happened, man. In the 1930s, the Finger family was a pretty well-to-do Jewish family. And we know what's happened in the 1930s in Germany, right? You know what I mean? So they were living over there in, I guess, the Cologne area of Germany. And things got bad, right? And they had some money and they had some connects. So they were able to get out. They were able to get the hell out. Got their family, everybody, and they took off. So that was little Eddie Finger at the time, I don't know, 12 years old, something like that, 1938. Right? So as soon as Ruth, Finger got over there, her fiance was this gentleman right here, Fred Rosenwald. Well, he worked in the textile industry in Germany. He worked for a couple different firms. In 1938, he was able to get all these, factories became Aryanized around that time, you know what I mean? And his supervisors, all became Nazis and stuff. And he was able to convince his Nazi supervisors to write letters of recommendation from every company he ever worked for. So he was a big, he was a little older, you know what I'm saying? He was at the time, I don't know, about, 29, 30 years old, something like that. And he might have even been married to Ruth by then, I don't know. But he was able to get out because Ruth, his father, I guess, had some kind of connect with B&J. You know what I mean? Say, hey, man, my fiance, he needs to get out of Germany, So they were able to secure his papers, man. And you know what I mean? Because B&J offered him a job, you know what I'm saying? Say, okay. And he had all these letters of recommendations from his Nazi bosses and shit, right? So he saved his life, man. B&J saved this guy's life, man. You believe that, man? You believe that, man? B&J saved his life. So let's talk a little bit more. Let's get back on the subject, man. Stop talking about history, man. So we all know that, these guys got together. They didn't leave B&J. They stayed with B&J. You know what I'm saying? All through the big guitar boom of the 1960s, you know what I'm saying? And they imported all kinds of instruments first from Germany because they knew they were German Jews, they know how to deal with the Germans, you know what I'm saying, at first. And then they went to Japan. They pretty much went to the defeated Axis countries, man. And then they went to Korea, who just, pretty much beat us. You know what I mean? Also, you know what I'm saying? It's all about, going to the losers, man. And they got all kinds of guitars from the losers all through the 60s at cheap prices, all seconds and shit, you know what I mean? And they warehoused them, they sold them under the brand names of Estrada, Cameo. We're always seeing that. They got a good early connect with Yamaha. So 1970 comes around. Norman Sackheim from Norma Guitars petitions Congress. Hey, you guys are putting this huge tariff on us. We're already suffering as it is because we've oversaturated the market, man. We need you to lift some tariffs and make it even cheaper for us to get these instruments, right? And basically the government said, no, go fuck yourself, man, Norman Sackheim. We can see, you know what I mean, that our friend right here, Mr. Fred Rosenwald, you know what I mean, from MICA, he signed the, government thing in 1970, right? But to no avail, man, to no avail. You know what I'm saying? The music, you know what I'm saying? Industry was collapsing, really. These little tiny, you know what I'm saying? Sub things were all falling apart, you know what I mean? And it did, man. It just imploded on itself. So, at this time, our main man, Hyman, right? Arthur Hyman from Stuart Allen, he's like, you know what, man? I'm out, man. He left the company. He went back and worked, you know what I mean, for the textile industry once again. You know what I'm saying? So Eddie and Freddie, you know what I mean, they soldiered on, man. And we see this entry in 1971, Marlboro Sound Works, man. Got Freddie, right? We got Eddie, and then we got Johnny. Right? They brought in a Christian, a Sabbath goy, man. This guy came in on Shabbat, man, and he turned on the lights in the temple, man. So anyway, you know what I'm saying? Marlboro Soundworks, what's that, man? Anybody knows guitars, like seriously know guitars, has seen a Marlboro amp in their travels, man. Marlboro amps are actually pretty killer amps. What Eddie did, he got in with, I believe it was Oliver Soundworks was the original name of it. You know what I mean? He got in there, man. You know, it was also on Woodbury, man, maybe Westbury, something like that, man. And they were making their own amplifiers, they were modifying amplifiers. And amplifiers are hard to import. You know what I mean? So it's like, fuck this, let's just make shit ourselves. So we bought a cabinet making business, right? We started making amplifiers, and he made money. Because at that time, people all had guitars that didn't have amplifiers. No loud amplifiers. That was the time of Zeppelin, time of Sabbath. You know what I'm saying? The time of the Who. You know what I mean? The time of like real loud shit, man. So people wanted people real loud. So they made the real loud amps, man. That's what they did. Marlboro amp. You know what I mean? They're pretty good stuff, man. Pretty good stuff. So that's what Freddie and Eddie did, man. You know what I'm saying? Here's a picture from the 1967 PTM, Piano Trades Musician. Another trades magazine. This is from 1967. We see our man, Elliott Hyman. We hadn't seen a picture of him yet, so I'll introduce you to him. So we talked about Hyman. You know what I mean? Fred Rosenwald. See, they were still working for B&J at that time. You know what I'm saying? And they see him actually checking out an amp. It's an early amp peg. You see that? That amp's worth some money right now. You know what I'm saying? So, let's talk about tragic times, man. You know, let's talk about the epilogue of this. You know what I mean? Eddie Finger's still alive. Of this, you know what I mean, filming here in 2021, he's still alive. I tried contacting him. I wasn't able to get a hold of him. I emailed him. I texted him. I tried calling him. You know what I mean? He's like 95 years old. So Eddie Finger, peace be with you, brother. You know what I'm saying? Try to get a hold of the Rosenwald family. I found an email address, a contact address for Mr. Rosenwald's daughter. She didn't ever get back to me either, man. You know what I'm saying? I wanted a couple things I wanted to know. You know, I wanted to clarify so I could give a little more detail, but I think I've given you enough detail. You can go to the U.S. Holocaust website, Holocaust Museum website, and I believe all, you know, his family's papers, Mr. Rosenwald's family's papers, all the documents from B&J. You can actually look at them online. There's more pictures on there. You know what I'm saying? That's not my property. You know what I'm saying? I think it even said, you know what I mean, by the courtesy of the, you know, family or whatever, so you can check it out over there, man. I ain't going to impugn on nobody's courtesy, man. You know what I'm saying? But let's talk about some sad shit, man. Let's talk about ghost inspectors, man. First, let's talk about my man Rosenwald, man. Now, Rosenwald, he got out of Nazi Germany in 1938 by luck of the fact that, you know what I mean, his fiancée had some money, you know what I mean, and their family had a little bit of a pull in New York City and new people, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as he got here, you know, he tried his best to get his parents out of there. He had a little sister, too. Lizette, I think her name, or Lizelle or something like that. Sorry about that. Got too close to the phone, man. And, you know, he petitioned the government, you know what I mean, like so many times to try to get her job here at B&J. Obviously, got a place to stay. You know, my in-laws got some money and shit, you know what I mean? But unfortunately, you know what I mean, he kept getting letters back from the U.S. saying, hey, man, her circumstances have not changed. You know what I mean? She's not married. She doesn't have no connects here. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So she got, She got liquidated in the camps, as well as his parents. His mom and dad got gassed or whatever in Auschwitz, something like that, man. It's a sad story. You can find out all the information, like I said, at the U.S. Holocaust website or something like that, man. You know what I'm saying? That's not for what we're talking about here. We're not talking about the Holocaust, man. You know what I'm saying? We're just talking about guitars, man. I don't want to be a downer, man. You know what I'm saying? People are fucking animals sometimes. They're savage, man. And let's talk about this motherfucker, because it's not all the Nazis, man. Sometimes it's your own people, man. This guy right here, man, Elliott Hyman, who he left MICA around about 1970, 1971, around about, go back in the textiles. You know what I'm saying? He was the original Stuart Allen guy who came over in 1960. You know what I mean? To get things going for MICA. What happened to him, man? Well, he did go back into textiles, man. And he had his client, you know what I mean, and made him particular, you know, some nice green, man. So 1981 rolls around, and he had this, you know, this mirror installer come and put his brand new mirror in his penthouse in Manhattan, you know what I'm saying? And the dude was an Israeli dude, you know what I mean? He was checking out the place. His wife had all these rings on and shit, you know what I mean? And he's like, yeah, I come back in a couple of days, man. I'm going to, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to, you know what I mean? Get a you know, a new mirror for you, because this mirror is, you know, doesn't fit, you know. So a couple of days he came back with, you know, some other dude, right? And Hyman answers the door. You know what I'm saying? He's like, oh, the mirror guys are here. The dude comes in, fucking mercilessly kills him, man. Like fucking mercilessly, like fucking, like almost cuts his head off, some crazy shit. Then like shoots his wife like 12 times, you know. And the wife played dead. They took fingers, like rings off his fingers. His other associate was Israeli too. They never found him, man. This is the New York Times, man, from 1981, man. See that? Israeli. They caught the one guy, but he never gave up his partner, man. He never gave up the other guy, man. The one guy, the guy who killed Hyman, he got out of jail like 2015 or 2012 or something like that, I believe, around about. And he was extradited to Israel. He's on Facebook. You find him if you do any research about this. You know what I'm saying? He's living there. He's got like a Facebook page. Got a picture of his kids on there. He's living a good life. You know what I'm saying? John Lennon, his murder was the same in New York City the year before. And he was certifiably crazy. He's still in jail. How come this animal's out, man? You know what I'm saying? I was talking about this with my father today. He's like, yeah, because that dude killed John Lennon, man. This guy just killed some kind of, you know, rich textile executive. But that's the way it is, man. That's a sad story, man. I don't want to talk sad stories, man, about Cameo, man. I got some surprises for you on the second day of the trip out to the island, man. The second week, man, you know, part 2. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to see you on this lab. I'm going to surprise you. You know what I mean? Because it's not just about Germany, man. We're to talk about some other things today as well, man. So peace be with you, man. I'll see you on the slab, man. Lots of talking.
So on part 2 of the trip out to the island, standing here listening to this jerk off talk for 30 minutes before he puts the goddamn guitar on the slab.
Anyway, man, here it is, man. It's pretty damn good condition. Now, a factory second can be, you know what I mean, either a banging dent out of the factory, or it could be like a salesman sample or something like that, man. Eddie and Freddie been working for B&J for 10 years. I mean, Freddie probably brought Eddie in as soon as he had some chest hair. We forgot I got his first whisker. He started working at B&J as soon as he could. You know what I'm saying? These guys, you know, probably came across a lot of salesman samples. You know what I mean? Over, you know what I mean, a long period of time. And B&J wasn't interested in them. You know what I mean? They couldn't do nothing with them. They were, you know, doing big models, big lines, and even that they didn't want to do. They weren't going to sell these little bits and pieces off of. I've seen a lot of cameos online. One of them looks just like, exactly like that Western Frameless that we were showing you. One of them looks exactly like George Harrison's first Eggman. And they all say Cameo have this similar stamp on there, man. I think they just got like a stamp, and it says Cameo, like a real nice stamp. You know what I mean? And that's pretty much it. They just sold every guitar they get their hands on in the 1960s when the guitar craze was going berserk. And I think that's what, you know, they got all their seconds that B&J didn't want. And they just sort of, you know what I mean? As salesmen themselves, they were besieged with all kinds of salesman samples. This is my theory, man. This is obviously famous. It's a basic guitar, very good condition. The only thing that really needs to be addressed on it
See this? It's got like a rose, like a cheap rosewood veneer that's coming up here. And I've sort of pulled up myself a little bit just in handling it. It's got to be glued down. It's also coming up right here by the nut. That's just from like, environmental conditions, man. But it's great. It's a nice, you know what I mean? Nicely built, good condition guitar. So, that's not too much work to do. We'll address that and we'll move on, man. We need to take this post-it note off. I'll do that on camera. All right. It was actually a sticker. So what's the big surprise I was talking about, man? Well, here's part one of it. Oh, the two-part surprise. Look at this guitar. It looks like that Tempo, man. Kind of like that Tempo. And it even got that piece I was talking about right down at the bottom there. You know what I'm saying? In the back, it's got all the stickers, the same as the Tempo had. Look at the front, man. Cameo, man. What's that? Yes, Cameo, man. This is the another Cameo label there. This was Cameo model AS-1. So this is when they actually had somebody toward the, crazy part of the 60s. You know what I mean? The 64, 65, like making the line of guitars directly for them. You know what I'm saying? This wasn't just a second, like that last one. This was like a real deal. Like, hey, I'm going to make you a bunch of guitars. It was most likely, at a discount budget too. You know what I mean? Knowing these guys. So, this thing, what's wrong with it? It's got all the stickers intact, which I like. It's got a full set of strings. You know what I mean? Looks like it's a little dirty, but in good shape. Well, we got some problems, man. Look at that, man. How the fretboard sunken in. Now, that's not really a big deal, because I don't really play chords up there, but this can be addressed. See that? Yes. It's the fretboard is separated from the guitar neck right there. And here, not as bad, but it's got like a big warp. You know what I mean? That's pretty much thrown the whole guitar out of whack. So we gotta loosen these strings, man. Get that intact. Not a big job, really. We'll do that. So I said this is part two of the part two surprise. Where's part three? Is there a part three? Well, we talked about Marlboro Soundworks, man. This is one of the first Marlboro amps, man. This is one of the first ones. You know, it's a pretty rare amp. The Marlboro GA4R-12, man. It works, too. It's missing a knob. This needs, it's got all, it needs to be tightened, too, because it's all, you know what I'm saying? It's got the original plug. Now, unfortunately, I tried this out and I played it for a couple minutes. Like, oh, that sounds pretty good. And then all of a sudden, I got the biggest shock of my life. I thought I was going to die, man. I'm going to electrocute him, man. You know what I'm saying? So, we're not going to play this guy. We're just going to make it look nice. And then we'll probably sell it after we do the episode, man. And we'll be like, buyer beware, man. Peace be with you, man. I'll see you in the workshop with our friend from Famous. Peace be with you. I'm going to have a Marlboro. All right? Come on, Eddie. Man, so we're in the lab. We got the fretboard fully exposed. How dare you expose my fretboard in public? How dare you? Easy way to do this, man, because I sometimes just take like a piece of masking tape and run around, but if you live that set for a long time, it's going to get like little masking tape gunk on the string unless you got it wrapped around the other way, which is kind of a pain in the ass to do. You just take an old cord or cable, you run around the back. It's like back of the back handcuffing. You're disabling the guitar from making any false moves on you, man. So we got some problems here. Look at this, man. This is peeling up. See that? Not so bad on this side. Take a look at that rosewood veneer, man. Look at it. The quality of the cut on that, man. It's real small. So we're going to try to pump a little of this tat, man. Or any wood glue. I'm not sponsored by Type Bond. You can use, any wood glue. I'm sure it's a quality one, though. Not saying that Type Bond's quality, but I find it to be of, a particularly effective nature. So we put some Type Bond in here, and here we're going to clamp it down a little bit, man. Clamp it on down, Mitch. Clamp it on down. You know what I mean? Preserve it for another 60 years, man. I'll take another salesman sample. Spicken the Deutsch, you Nazi fuck. Alright, so we've had it clamped pretty much all afternoon here, man. Looks like it's ready to unclamp. There's little places where it was sort of coming up. Right here was particularly hard because that little piece had been hyperextended many years ago. You know what I'm saying? And then what happened essentially was the piece that was hyperextended, that was sticking out, kind of expanded and didn't really fit back exactly right. So we went with some extra pressure on it. Let's get it unclamped and everything, and talk about our next move. You know what I'm saying? On the early Cameo days, you know what I'm saying? Great, man. You can't even, you know what I mean? It's like shining a light on it, but from up here, I mean, it's perfect. The Ray Charles test, you can't feel it at all, man. Up here, there's a little bit of glue that we gotta, you know what I mean, kind of get off there. But wait a second, man. Let's do a quick fret job on this guy, man. Just a quick sort of, you know what I mean, filing them down. Get them totally even, man. You know what I'm saying? Even ball field for us to get started on our game, man. I'll see you when we're done with that. So, got the fret job done. Now, usually, after I do a fret job, I like to smear some mineral oil in there with a little tiny piece of steel wool, especially on the rosewood boards. However, in this case, being this is a very thin piece of rosewood veneer, we got it all. We got a nice little round over done. You know what I mean? Everything's sticking down where it should be sticking down. It looks great. You can't see any previous trauma. You know what I'm saying? We're not going to use any, you know what I'm saying, on that fresh glue. We're not going to use any of that mineral oil grease. We're just going to take a tiny little bit of furniture polish. We're just clean the front of this headstock off. We're going to clean off the fretboard and everything else. We're just going to try and keep that, you know what I mean? Keep that old furniture polish away from. We'll just take like a wet cloth and just sort of wipe off this guitar, you know what I mean? Put this bridge back where its little ghost is, you know what I'm saying, from a million years ago. We'll put this guy aside, you know what I mean? Wait till we do a glam shots on him, you know what I'm saying? Let's get that Japanese guitar up here so we can start cracking away at that, man. Cracking away. The early Cameo, you know what I'm saying? Over and out. It's time for middle age. Please be with you. Alright. So we have Cameo-san on the table. About to give him operation. Like ninja in the night. So essentially what we're going to do, man, in minutes, all kinds of people out there, man. We're just going to see that crack. We're just going to fill it with this old tight bond. And we're just going to put a big old clamp on there. I haven't really tied these strings back because I don't want them anywhere near that side, man. I just want them loose. You know what I'm saying? Hang loose. I don't know if this might have been one of the reasons where, you know what I'm saying? Where it buckled this because of that weird whine, man. I always heard that, you know what I mean? The more tension you put on the tuning peg, you know what I mean? Not good for the guitar. Now, I don't know if that's true. I ain't no scientist, man. You know what I'm saying? I ain't scientific. You know what I'm saying? This is the AS-1, man. As one would like. So let's do that, man. Let's pump some glue in there. Let's get it clamped up. I'll see you after our clamping times are done. Now that's a clamp. Look at that fucking thing. It's a device, man. Got a nice little piece of, you know, board keeping it even Steven. Now, it's kind of like that time of the year. It's very like humid, and we use a lot of like, you know what I mean, tight bond in there. So I left it, you know, down here for 2-3 days just to make sure it's dry. The last couple of projects, you know, where I used a lot of tight bond, it took like a lot longer to cure than usual. So we want to make sure we're totally, you know what I'm saying, we're at the point, man. We're at the pernt. So let's unclamp it, man. Let's remove this contraption. You know what I mean? And see what we got. See what we're faced with, people. Possibly we'll be able to say, peace be with you, to this guitar soon. You know what I'm saying? All we need is peace, man. Give it a chance. Man. Looks great, actually. Action looks pretty good. I wonder if this is where truly intonates at. You know what I'm saying? Or I wonder if that's just, you know, being messed around with. I don't see any other footing, though. You know what I mean? That'd be wild if it intonated down there. Anyway, this thing's real fucking filthy dirty. You can't even see it on the phone, man. You know what I'm saying? But it's fucking disgusting. So let's give it a good cleaning, a good polishing, maybe a little wax on there. You know what I'm saying? We don't have to do a fret job. I see that, you know, these frets are, this guitar's unused, man. It sat in like a garage for, you know, a good 50 years. And now it's been unearthed. And now we have it. Now we can look at it, play with it. Anyway, I'll see you in the glam shots on this guy. Let's check out that amplifier, man. Hey, Tony, pass me a Marlboro, huh? Fucking red. You know what I'm saying? All right. So it's amp time, man. Now, I've had a couple episodes where I've done amps. You know what I mean? I had amp month last December. I'm thinking I might even do it again this year. But I'm not an amp guy. You know what I mean? I'm not like, I don't have all that machinery to test faulty caps. And I don't really like to have equipment, you know what I mean, that's not original. You know what I mean? I would not want to sacrifice this early wire, you know what I mean, just to be able to have the convenience to play this fucking thing. I wouldn't even want it if it was like changed out. You know what I mean? It looks like there's some pretty powerful stuff going on under there. You know what I mean? Stuff that I'm sure, you know what I mean, an amp person like my man, the late great Dougie Fresh, be able to fix real quick. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So I'd rather just pass this on to somebody. But I do want to make it cosmetically ready. You know what I mean? Because I think I could probably get a couple more dollars for this thing. Well, you know what I mean? If it wasn't all dirty. It wasn't all saggy looking. You know what I mean? It works. You know what I'm saying? It just shocks you, man. And I don't like that shit, man. I don't want to die, man, playing guitar. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to die playing guitar. So let's get this thing sales ready and let's make it profitable. I don't even remember how much I paid for this thing. I'm thinking it was no more than like $10. I think it might have been $5, man. Not paid very much for it. And it sounded really good, you know what I mean? I jammed it out for a day or two. But then that, you know, shocking moment came and I was like, no. No more, man. No more. You know what I'm saying? You never can trust an old amp, you know what I mean? Especially this, man. It's all original, though, people, man. But let's get rid of this wave, man. I don't like this wave. Look at this ragtag shit going on here, man. Look at that, man. It's kind of like a Vox S thing going on here. Look at this, man. Look at the inputs names. Bright. Normal. Mellow. Now, listen. They changed like the knob style in the Marlboro amps like in the later models, and the numerals were more like digital looking, and each one of those knobs goes for like, you know what I mean, $20 on the aftermarket, man. It's hard to get. You can't even get a hold of knobs like this. Very, very rare. So I'm missing one of them, man. I'm like, that kind of sucks. So I'm thinking I'm gonna replace these fucking things, man. Just take them off, replace them with, you know what I mean, like a cheap knob, and sell these on, you know, and you put them up on eBay for $20 a piece. You know what I'm saying? You'll find, I'm gonna find, I think like an old Fender, you know what I mean, amp knob. You know, there's very, very similar. I think it starts at 1 though. It doesn't start at 0, but you know, it almost looks exactly the same. I think the numbers might be a little bigger. But order set of them, I think they're like $15 for a whole set, like 6, I believe. I think I saw it on Reverb earlier. So we're going to do that. We're going to disassemble this guy, right? We're going to fix this grill up. You know what I'm saying, man? We're carefully, very, you know, and cautiously clean it, man. You know? I'll see when we get the back disassembled and get the speaker out and all that. You know, we got to take this off with these screws. And, you know what I mean? We got to, you know, I saw there's some screws in there. See that? Then we'll pull that back, you know what I mean? And we'll just get to it, man. Right on, man. See you in a moment. Peace be with you. Hey, man. By the way, man, Eddie Finger, shortly after he registered his trademark, he got a cease and desist letter from, like, Philip Morris. Believe it or not, man, can you believe that? He's like, it's nothing to do with cigarettes, man. It's nothing to do with cigarettes, bruh. You know what I'm saying? This is for Marlboro, man. Peace be with you, man. You know what I'm saying? Peace be with you. Alright people, so we have this back panel taken off, carefully laid aside. We've got two piles of screws. One screw of course is from that panel, and the other screw is from around this perimeter of this front plate. There's a bunch of screws going around here, so we're going to pull this plate up. We have the speaker disconnected, and no surprises folks. Alright, so I'll show you once it's pulled up what's underneath. Hey, I can see the floor. Ah! This is it, folks. This is it, man. You remember this board from that, you know what I'm saying? That, I don't know what they call that. Fiber board, maybe. We did that Telstar amp. We had to make a back, and it was made out of that, man. So this is easy peasy, man. Let's trim this up. Get all these little frisker whiskers off, right? And just get this staple gun out and staple this back where it belongs. Pull out these bad staples. There's one or two. Right? Easy as that, folks. Easy as that. See you in a moment when we're all taught. Alright. So we're all taught it up, man. I taught you well. Old staple gun, man. 6mm staples around the perimeter. It's about as taut as it can be, man. Looks great. However, we still got some little fraying on here after we even trimmed it. We want to keep trimming this because we'll trim a hole right through it. Up here there's a couple too that I didn't want to, I kind of want to do something else too. I suppose just cut them off. Got a little crazy glue, super glue, man, super, man. We're just gonna put a couple drops right here. You know what I mean? Glue them down. Likewise up there. See you in a moment. That's nice. You know what I mean? We just put some super glue on top of it to stop the fraying, man. Stop the fraying, man. Stop the violence, man. Settle, you know what I mean? And that's on the peripheral, so you're not going to really see that. Looks good, man. Looks good to me. So look at this thing, man. Let's go scrub this up. Let's scrub it up with just water. My man Dougie Fresh, he used to, like, you know what I mean, scrub them up, and he would paint them semi-gloss black. And they'd look incredible, but, you know what I'm saying, I'm not going that serious into the vent, man. You know, this is, you know what I mean, got some age to it. I kind of like that. You know what I mean? It looks unfettered with, man. And that's what I'm trying to say, man. Just sort of slightly fettered with. All right? I'll see you when it's all cleaned up. Now we got it all cleaned up looking. You know what I'm saying? Let's manhandle this guy carefully into place. And let's get it all screwed back up, and I'll see you when we're all screwed up, man. One moment. So don't that look great? Don't it look better at least? Yes, it does look better. You can say it. You can admit it. You know what I mean? You can admit it. It looks better. So one last thing, man. We were talking about replacing these knobs, man. Hey, man. We're missing one. We want to sell these guys. Maybe even keep one in the hole just in case we get another one of these down the line. You know what I'm saying? We can at least sell two of them. Make 30, 40 bucks, right? So, got that pack of fender knob that I was talking about. The fender part is 09909300000. Bought these right from Fender themselves, man. Directly from Fender Musical Land. Oh! And see, look, they got a little set knob on them, man. These are really nice, man. These are for like a 68, I think. Beautiful. I kind of like, you know what I mean? They behoove the other ones. Oh, focus, man. You know what I'm saying? Very, very similar. A little nicer. A little cleaner. You know what I'm saying? So let's replace all them knobs. Knock them off, put these on. And the cool thing is we have two of these we could sell. You know what I'm saying? We'll probably make, I don't know, 15 bucks from that. 10 bucks from that. You know what I'm saying? Whatever. You know what I'm saying? Money on the side is money on the side, my peoples. So let's screw these on very nicely. We're going to do a glamour shots. You know, we'll do it in like a reverse robin. We'll do this one. We'll do the Japanese one. Then we'll circle back to the German cameo that we started off with, man. So let's begin our glam shots right now. Peace be with you. So I'm outside here, taking pictures for a Craigslist listing. I always thought that vintage instruments, if you're trying to sell them, they look much better outside.
You know what I mean? Take a picture from outside and like the natural lighting. Nice looking instrument though, people. So this was really one of the first examples of like the Marlboro instrument. This is what separated the boys from the men in terms of the MICA. You know what I mean? This is what changed them from a distributor to a manufacturer. This guy was made in USA. See that? Made in Long Island. Fuck out of here. You know what I mean? You want to fucking feel bright? You want to just be normal? You want to be fucking mellow? You know what I mean? Want some reverberation on that shit? Not just reverb, man. It's reverberation. That's the island for you, man. The trip out to the island, man. So, there it is, man. How do you think this sounds? Beautiful, old, rare Marlboro amp GA4R12. You know what I'm saying? Decent cosmetic condition. Has some gremlins electronically. It does work. Should be serviced by technician prior to use. $50 or best offer. Please be with you. Look after yourself.
And there it is. The Japanese Cameo AS-1. AS stands for asshole student. 1 stands for number 1. It's hard to find these guitars made by this Japanese manufacturer that still has these strap buttons intact, man. Let me get a picture of it, man. Just see what they look like, man. So many of these guitars, you know what I mean? If you see like one of these things on it, usually this thing will be missing, broken, gone, man. So it looks good, man. It's cosmetically, you know what I mean? Cosmetically, it's a fine instrument. AS-1 for Cameo. But it's pretty much a very terrible guitar, man. Not very good. See these like clear plastic? They're all still there, man. Glued on, man. This is the finest thing that I ever distributed out of my warehouse there. The warehouse is a little bit different than a whorehouse in that you can wear stuff out of it. You can't really wear no whore. Don't have much to say, man. Don't know if this really is going to affect anything in the long run. Probably been that way for 50 years, so we'll just leave it that way, man. So that's it for the Japanese model, man. You know what I'm saying? We've done our glamour out of it, man. We've made our shots. So let's get that German one made by our friends over there, famous onto the slab. And when we're done with that, we'll know that peace be with you. Look after ourselves. Peace be with you. It all comes back down to this guy, man. We've circled back, man. Complete circle. I don't know, I'm going to say out of all these products distributed by MICA, this is probably the highest quality of them all, man. Made by Nazi Germany. Defeated Nazi Germany is all that. Like barely finished, you know what I'm saying? My mom had like some, like, you know what I mean? Big wooden furniture in our living room when I was a kid. Just kind of like, you know what I mean? Basic finish on it. Got those no frills in-house frameless tuners. Early Schaller possibly, you know what I'm saying? Early Schaller work possibly, man. Bolt on neck. Action's really nice on it now. Really, really nice on it. So that's MICA for you people. That's Cameo. That's the story, man. That's the Morning Glory story, man. You know, so our man Rosenwald, he passed in 1992. We know that Mr. Hyman unfortunately met his demise in 1981. And Eddie Fingers still breathes the air. Hopefully he does. So, as for the performance, man, we know we're not going to play that amplifier. You don't want to watch Bobby die just yet, man. Not before our 75th episode extravaganza. But this is the conclusion of our 2-part trip out to the island. We have a special treat for you, man. And after we're done treating you, you can know that we'll wish peace unto you. See you in a second. Alright, people, so here you go. Special surprise, man. I got none other than my great friend Ricky D, the choice of words himself. We're going to jam out both these guitars together so we don't have to take up any more of your precious time. This time is a very important commodity, man. Cycle Asbury Circles coming at you the beginning of October. Go down to Rick DeRouge at any of the streaming platforms. Check out the new album, I Can Feel You, man. It's the dopest shit you're gonna hear all fall. It's the record of the fall, people. Peace be with you.
Peace.